Welcome to the World According to Christy podcast. This show will motivate you, inspire you, and give you tools to activate your goals and dreams, whether those dreams are entrepreneurial, corporate, or personal.
This episode is sponsored by the Faith to Conquer Fear Inner Circle small group coaching and mentoring program. If you are ready to be a part of a safe and supportive environment that helps you increase your confidence, increase your faith, and conquer your fears so you can do all that God has called you to do, schedule a free Faith to Conquer Fear strategy session with me, Christy Demetrakis, at faithtoconquerfear.com. Well, we're nearing the much anticipated end of 2020. If you are on social media at all, you have no doubt seen every meme known to man about how awful and abnormal 2020 has been. If you look around, pretty much everything has changed. Kids are learning virtually, people are working from home, many businesses are closing as their business model was not designed or adapted for a virtual environment. Other businesses are thriving as they cater to the new. The way you shop has changed, our eating habits have changed. The list goes on and on. It's interesting. I remember being in my church's New Year's Eve service in 2019, and my pastor, and likely every other pastor, declaring 2020 would be the year of vision and clarity. It makes sense, right? 2020 vision. And we were all excited. Lord, thank you for the clarity. Thank you for the vision. Well, God answers prayers. Now, we have all had similar yet different experiences in 2020. Some of you are probably watching this and saying, "Now, Christy, God did not answer my prayer. I prayed for all this foolishness to be over." Over the last 9 months, some of you have fallen into depression because of the isolation. Some of you have lost loved ones to the coronavirus. Some of you have lost faith in humanity as we have experienced, and it has been exposed, the racial tensions that have heightened in the U.S. Some have ended long-time friendships and relationships over the divide that has become our political process. We're disappointed, we're hurt, we're divided and confused. But I'm here to tell you that even though you and most anyone you ask is ready for 2020 to be over, 2020 is not a throwaway year. Let me say that again. 2020 is not a throwaway year. I want you to take a moment and look at the big picture of 2020. Leading up to March 2020, for those of us in the U.S., we were going on with what we considered our normal lives. Taking kids back and forth to a million activities, grabbing food on the go, commuting back and forth to work, sitting in traffic, wishing we could get home quicker. And then once we got home, we logged back onto our laptops or sat in front of the TV holding our cellular devices, not talking to each other. There, but not there. Living in a home with people we didn't really know, if we're being honest. We didn't know what our kids were working on in school. We relied on the teachers to both teach and, in some cases, raise our children. What people are calling normal, God never intended to be normal. God never intended for us to be so caught up in our work that we couldn't spend time together as families. God never intended for us to be so busy that we would not make time or build relationship with Him. We needed an intervention to slow us down and gain clarity about the world and, more importantly, ourselves. Many of us have been trying to figure out how to make it all work. The world moves so fast and we were having trouble keeping up. We needed an intervention, and we got it. When my company made the shift to working from home, I made a declaration that when this pandemic is over, if I'm not better mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually, shame on me. I'm sure my life is like many of yours. I can easily work 12 to 14-hour days. I have a corporate job. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm active in my church. I'm married with 2 children in college and 2 fur doggies at home. Yet I struggle like many to make the dedicated time to invest in the things that really matter, the things that are lasting. but I made a decision in March and have been pretty consistent with my focus. First thing I did was I implemented a regular prayer time to improve my spiritual life. The second thing, I was regularly going to the gym before the coronavirus hit. When the gyms closed, I made sure I worked out in my basement every day so I wouldn't lose that momentum, because how many of you have gotten in shape, then you've let yourself get out of shape, then you have to go through the whole process of getting back in shape again? Not worth it. Not worth it. So I wanted to make sure I kept the momentum. I would go in my basement every morning, had my Apple TV, and the gym that I'm a member of, they had an app and they had a daily workout. And I did that every morning. Not just to keep my body in shape, but also to keep my mind healthy and my stress levels down. And then the third benefit, I didn't even plan this, we saved money. I was amazed at how much money I was spending in gas, eating out, and shopping, buying things just to pass the time between meetings. I would end my day at work. I have 2 hours before Bible study, and I go, let me hit Steinmart, which is out of business, by the way. And I would just spend money. And during this pandemic, once I realized I was saving money, we paid off a car. And now we truly have a firm financial plan to accelerate the financial plan I already had in place to be debt-free in 10 years. We've accelerated that to 6 years. Yeah. Now I realize, and I'm not insensitive to the fact that not everyone is in the same place. I know that. Not everyone is in the same place. But in spite of the things that have certainly not been good, can you look back at the last 9 months and acknowledge and recognize how God has moved in your life this year? How has He moved in your life this year? Because if you're listening to this message, you're still here. Despite all the other things, you're still here and there's still a chance. 2020 is not a throwaway year. If we don't take the time to self-assess, reflect, and learn the lessons God has given us the time and the space to learn, we are doomed to repeat. I saw a meme that said, what if 2020 is just a trailer for 2021? That made me stop, because we all know what a movie trailer is, right? Movie trailer just gives you the highlights, gives you the first 3 to 5 minutes of what the movie is about, and then you get to decide whether you want to purchase the movie or watch the full movie or not. Well, guess what? 2021 is coming, regardless. And I know that that's an unsettling thought for many. But here's the thing. If we're not careful, this pandemic will become a mindset. If we're not careful, this pandemic will never end in our minds. The relationship issues you refuse to address will carry over into 2021. Your negative attitude and all the hurt it causes will carry over into 2021. The lessons you were supposed to learn that you didn't learn in 2020, guess what? Will show up again in 2021. The things God tried to reveal about you and me during the quiet time He gave us in 2020 will carry over into 2021. Why? Because we still need the revelation. God is still trying to speak to us. He's still trying to get our attention. He has opened the heavens for clarity and vision in all areas of life. There's a scripture in the Bible, Matthew 22, verses 35 through 40, that says, verse 35, one of them, an expert in the law, tested Him with this question. Teacher, which is Jesus, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these 2 commandments. God gave us 10 commandments, but the first 2 are the most important. We don't have to worry about keeping the other 8 if we follow the first 2. So here's my question. How are we doing? How are we doing against those first two commandments? God has removed so many distractions and things that we have made our idols to give us the opportunity to demonstrate the first two commandments. We each have to do a personal reflection and assess how we're doing in these two areas. We are coming to the end of another year. 2020 is absolutely going to end. Odds are the pandemic is not going to end on December the 31st. What does that mean for us? What does that mean for you? It means we still have time. I have told everyone, if you know me at all, you've probably heard me say it, we are in a divine window of opportunity. However long it lasts, we are in a divine window of opportunity. And we still have time to appreciate family, time to build and establish relationships, time not commuting, time to improve our prayer life, time to spend time with our families around the dinner table, God time, and more. God continues to give us grace and mercy to gain more vision and clarity. Let's use this time to do better and be better.
Thank you for listening to the World According to Christy podcast. Remember to subscribe to ensure you receive updates on upcoming episodes. Check out free resources to help you increase your faith, increase your confidence, and conquer your fears at faithtoconquerfear.com.